So I got to work in my undergraduate trainee program. Got to know about the job opening through a LinkedIn repost from one of my connections on LinkedIn. When it comes to my CV, I structured it to only talk about my electrical engineering pursuit so far.
You didn't do assessment.
My first cohort did not do assessment, although subsequent cohorts have been able to be self-employed since then. So the interview was 2 stages on the same day. Then the second stage was a mini project defense. That is, you basically showed how kind of
You did in your idea. If you did IT, put it there. Some little places that you've probably served or do this. They do not need you to have done 7 years prior somewhere. Just good morning, good evening to anyone watching. This is the graduate trainee series where we speak to people who have gotten a graduate trainee role in the firms in the country. And today I'll be speaking with Arinze from Schneider Electric. Arinze, thank you very much for doing this.
So thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Arinze, engineering trainee at Schneider Electric. So Schneider Electric is an automation company that deals with electrical automation in every sense possible. We work in the oil and gas sector, production, manufacturing. Basically, we try to use electrical solutions to bring human error to the barest minimum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So just to cut to the chase, and thank you for explaining a bit about what Schneider Electric does. So just to cut to the chase, I'll just ask 2 questions and then we can move very fast on this. The first one is, how did you get to know Schneider Electric and how did you get to know about the graduate trainee role? That's the first one. Then the second one will be, was there anything specific that you did on your CV that made you stand out?
So I got to work in Schneider Electric through my undergraduate trainee program when I was learning about programmable logic controllers, PLCs, and control systems. I got to know that Schneider Electric is one of the premier companies in that industry space. So I got to know about the job opening through a LinkedIn repost from one of my connections on LinkedIn. I remembered how much of a premier company Schneider Electric was when I first learned about it. And then it struck me that such a company would be very good for my career. Then when it comes to my CV, I structured it to only talk about my electrical engineering pursuit so far and not any other thing I had been working on because I was applying for an electrical engineering role. So I tailored my CV to electrical engineering related things. So that's that. If I did structure my CV in any particular way, that would be it.
Thank you very much. So just to ask right now, Schneider Electric is an it's an automation firm, right? Wanting to eliminate human error as much as possible by automating machines and all kinds of things. So would you say that Schneider Electric is only for engineers, or can other firms that other students that studied non-engineering degree, can they apply?
So majority of Schneider Electric is for engineers, but not only engineers that work there. We need people in the finance space, in the sales space, HR, administrative work. So majority is engineering, it's not all.
Okay. So general populace can still at least shoot their shots, right? So anyone watching, right? I know it's Schneider Electric and it's majorly engineering based, but I mean, you lose 100% of the shots that you never take, right? So you should just go for it. Yeah. So now you applied, right? What was the waiting period between when you first applied and the first email that they sent after you applying for the graduate training?
In my case, it was 2 months, applied mid-February 2024, 2025. And I received my notification for the interview mid-April 2026. So 2 months.
And then what was the email? Was the email for assessment? And if it was for assessment, right? Was it SHL or Dragnet? Just talk to us about the next email that came after the
interview.
You did do assessment?
My cohort did not do assessment, although subsequent cohorts have been able to do assessment tests since then.
So the email was for the interview. There was no assessment before the interview.
Basically, the interview was the assessment. So no assessment test, no automated assessment test.
Just to ask, right? After you got in, were there guys that had to get into Schneider Electric's graduate training and they did assessment test?
No sets before us was need to do assessment tests. Because the same way as we did, we applied, they were
So Schneider Electric does not do assessments yet.
previously. Now they do.
They do now.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. So do you have an idea of how the assessment is structured?
Well, I have a vague idea, not a complete.
Okay, please can you help us?
So I think we said that just did assessments. Some of them were my classmates in school, so they were sending me the structure of the test, so to speak. That was like some months ago. So
Okay.
I think it's included. I think abstract reasoning, comprehension, then maybe something to do with math. Not completely sure, but yeah. As I said, I have a vague idea, but not complete.
I think it sounds like the normal general test where you have abstract reasoning, deductive, this mathematical concept and all of that. So yeah, I think it would usually be between SHL or GMAT. So if anybody is planning to apply to Schneider Electric, you think it was what? I didn't get that very well.
Dragnet.
Oh, okay. Dragnet. So I think that's enough information. So Schneider Electric previously does not do assessment, but now they do. And the one they use is actually Dragnet. Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
let's move into the interview. Can you explain your experience about your interview to us?
So the interview was in 2 stages on the same day. The first one we were asked to give an elevator pitch. That is, introduce yourself, your experience so far in your career. So you talk about the school you came from, what you finished it, how you feel, you can help Schneider Electric achieve their major goal as a company, their mission as a company. And after this, that same first stage, they reviewed my CV and were basically confirming what was on my CV, trying to get a fresh perspective, basically trying to put the experiences so bed, so to speak. So just going around the table, everyone asking questions, what they feel they need to know more about, trying to get a feel of what this person will be like if we employ him. So then the second stage was a mini project defense. That is, we basically showed our final year projects, did a presentation on it, and tried to connect it with what Schneider Electric does. So those were the 2 stages.
So you presented your final year project.
Yeah. Miniaturized form. They made sure we did 4 or 5 slides. And then they told us what they needed to be in the outline. Basically, so made sure, so we should describe our projects, which SDG goals it was tailored towards. Then they said, looking at it a couple of months from now, if you had all the resources, how would you improve the projects? So basically, like finding the gaps in your project and then talking about how you would improve it with unlimited resources. That is trying to understand how deep you went into your research on the project. That's what I took it as.
Just one question, because it's not usual. It's not usual to. So, did they tell you sometimes maybe last week that when you're coming, you're going to present your project?
In the interview mail, they did tell us what to prepare for. Told us about the elevator. And basically gave us the program of the interview. So, we were informed of this.
That's quite something, to be fair. How did you go? How was it?
Well, I was not far removed from graduation, so my project was still fresh. So I can't speak for others, but my project was very fresh. The presentation was still on everything I did. So it was basically leaning into muscle memory because I had worked on my project for close to 9 months, and I was only like 6 months removed from graduation, so it
From
wasn't
graduation.
really that much of a deal. So
Yeah, yeah. So, I just want to speak to those watching. They've probably heard you say that you should put things that you do in electrical engineering on your CV, and people are actually wondering, what did I do? Where will I see the experience and all of that? And majorly because I've always been this advocate of graduate training doesn't need experience from you. I think the
yeah,
experience is what you did in IT. If you did IT, put it there. Some little places that you've probably served or do this. They do not need you to have done 7 years prior somewhere. Just whatever you've done up until that time. Because Arinze is just 6 months of graduation. There was no way he was getting 7 years of experience as at the time he got into Schneider Electric. So I just do not want anybody to lose faith before they even apply at all. So you do not. Again, graduate training are for those that are just graduating, just finishing service, and you should by all means take the shot. You do not need so much experience, right? Your CV is not meant to be like that of a consultant that has been working for 5 years or 7 years or something like that. So as we conclude this, right, what do you think? You said the interview was divided into two. You've really spoken to us about the final year the final year project. The first one, do you remember any specific question that caused you to think twice?
yeah. So the question was like, what was the biggest mistake I made in the previous places I moved at?
Do you want to share how you answered it? Not what you answered specifically, but yeah, yeah, I heard you. Do you want to share how you answered it? Not what you said specifically, but maybe a point out to anyone that is facing that question. Mhm. And I think that's a good way to answer it. I think another way, when questions around weakness, mistakes come up, is you still want to frame the question like it's a source of strength, right? Such that you're already working on the mistakes. Sometimes people say they don't know how to delegate, and now I've started delegating because I just want to attain perfection and all of those things. I think that when you're faced with questions around weakness, what are your weaknesses? What are the mistakes you've made? You still want to turn you back and still make it look like strength, right? For example, you not asking question, you not doing the way you framed it. You're still saying that you're very curious to know things and all of that, right? So that's what I would just. I mean, if anybody comes across, what's your weakness? There are quite a number of things, but make sure that the way you're answering it, you're still framing it as some sort of strength, not that you went to delete their delete their production base and then the company went into debt and all of that. Nobody's going to hire you after you tell them that. So, do you have any final words for anyone wanting to get into Schneider Electric? So it is you apply, you get called for you get called for assessment now, which is hosted by Dragnet. Then you do 2 level of interviews, and after the level of interview, those that get to the final stage will get the final offer, right? So yeah, we've heard from Arinze about how to apply and all the things you need to do concerning Schneider Electric. Arinze, thank you very, very much. And see, we meet again on the next episode of Graduate Trainee Series, where we get to interview folks who have gotten into different roles in the country through graduate training. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.